Let's do it.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Hey everyone, how are you all doing today? Hope everyone's having an awesome day so far. So, in his prime, Anakin Skywalker was one of the most powerful Jedi, if not the most powerful in the entire galaxy. He was the poster boy of the Jedi Order in the Republic's war against the Separatists, and everyone knew his face. But, despite his public persona, he harbored a dark secret. His marriage to Senator Padme Amidala and being the father of her yet-to-be-born child was something that was a bit controversial. For 3 years, they kept their relationship a secret from everyone around them. But with the pregnancy, Padme began to feel overwhelmed by the secrecy and wanted it to end. Neither he nor Padme knew what to do, and both ultimately kept the secret out of fear that Anakin would be expelled from the Jedi Order if the Council found out that he was the father. So the big question is, were they right? Would Anakin have been forcefully expelled as Obi-Wan claimed at the end of Attack of the Clones, and as Padme said in Revenge of the Sith? To know the answer, we need to look at what happened to other Jedi who had children and formed similar attachments. In Legends, there are more than a few Jedi who had children. They were married and they suffered a wide range of consequences as a result. But now in canon, we have our first official Jedi who not only had a child, but also formed a strong attachment with them, which led to trouble for both parent and child and caused problems for the Jedi Order. We learned about this Jedi in the canon audiobook Dooku, Jedi Lost. Her name was Eula Braylon, and she was a Jedi Master who sat on the High Council and was one of the Order's best seekers. No, not the Harry Potter type of seeker, but a Jedi seeker was someone who traveled throughout the galaxy seeking Force sensitives to recruit the Jedi Order. I'm getting some pretty good X-Men vibes from this, but here we go. During her travels throughout the galaxy, Braylon had a son named Arath, who she would later bring to the Jedi Temple to be trained, hiding from everyone the fact that he was her son. As he grew up, Arath trained alongside Dooku, but they weren't very good friends, since Arath was jealous of Dooku's powers, and honestly, was kind of a jerk to Dooku. He was like his main bully. Master Braylon secretly kept a close eye on her son during these formative years, and assigned herself to be around him constantly to take care of him. Once he became a Jedi, though, and left the temple away from Mommy, his punk attitude eventually caught up to him when he began to gamble and got mired in gambling debts. Despite for a solution and to save face with the Jedi, Arath robbed an ambassador to pay them off. When Master Braylon learned of this, she put her son before the Jedi and helped him cover it up, and further tried to help him pay off other debts. Their attachment to each other superseded the Jedi Order. When the Jedi finally found out, she actually lost her seat on the Jedi Council, and he was sentenced to work in the Jedi Archives. But notice what didn't happen. Neither of them were kicked out of the Jedi Order. How? There wasn't a war going on at this time, so there wasn't an intense need to keep them, nor was Arath a super powerful Jedi, and the same, maybe, couldn't be said about his mom. One thing is for sure though, their attachment to each other had brought disgrace to the Order, yet they still remained. So now I ask, would the Jedi Order really have kicked out Anakin if they found out he was married to Padme and was going to have a baby? Both relationships were strong forms of attachment, something expressly forbidden by the Jedi. But a key difference here is that Anakin was the chosen one, and he was the hero during the Clone Wars. This could have either worked for him or against him. I mean, on one hand, we know that the Jedi were desperate for new recruits. Jedi were dying, they were spread way too thin throughout the galaxy, and the Order advanced younglings to Padawans much earlier than normal so they could get into the battle sooner. This means that the Jedi probably couldn't have afforded to get rid of Anakin, especially with his level and prestige. He wasn't just any Jedi, he was the chosen one, the face of the Jedi to the galaxy, the poster boy of the hero of the Clone Wars. I mean, it's like taking out Michael Jordan because he was 5 minutes late to practice or something like that. Well, okay, maybe not 5 minutes late to practice, but maybe he missed a game or something. Anakin's popularity could also have worked against him though. What message would the Jedi be sending to the galaxy if they let their poster boy, the popular Anakin, get away with it? Would they have felt compelled to punish him, to make a statement, to make an example of him to the galaxy? Now personally, I don't think so, because the war would have taken precedence, and I certainly don't think they would have expelled him completely. Now, since George wrote the movies and in them we say that he would have been kicked out, I feel compelled to say, case closed. But I think this is a classic case of Palpatine pulling the strings. In Revenge of the Sith, he uses Anakin's fear for his wife against him to join the dark side. It's more than possible that Palpatine was also sowing fears of expulsion within Anakin and Padme in order to turn Anakin against the Jedi and seek counsel from the Senate himself. That being said, I also believe believe that with Disney's new canon influence, they're kind of changing the script a little bit. So some things that were, canon 100% are now a little bit debated. Kind of like this. Now, something else that's actually interesting is Ki-Adi-Mundi had, I believe it was 4 wives. And, that was a very special case because apparently his planet was dying out. Their breed was dying out. They're not their breed. They're not dogs. Jeez. Their species was dying out. So, he had to procreate. And, or maybe it was he had 4 hearts or maybe 4 or 2 brains. I don't know. Either way, he definitely had a wife, at least one of them. So you can expect me to make a video on that coming soon with a little more information for sure. So what do you guys think? Would Anakin have actually been expelled from the Jedi Order if they found out? Or was Palpatine sowing seeds of doubt in his long quest to turn Anakin to the dark side? So are you guys with George's Star Wars from episode 2, where he had Obi-Wan say, "You'll be expelled from the Jedi Order"? Or are you with the new canon that Disney's putting out with the Count Dooku audiobook, where we have a Jedi Master who, actually worse than even being married, she had a son and he ended up doing some criminal acts and he was still in the Jedi Order. So, that's a lot to say there. Let me know in the comments down below. Hit like on this video if you enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next one. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you always.